Yo, what's up guys, It's here. We finally have confirmation about when this Green Forest is launching in Raid Shadow Legends, and I'll tell you right now in the beginning of this video, it's the middle of this new week we are going into. So what, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm not sure yet the date and the time, but we confirmed it's the middle of next week, this week we're going into. So but first, in this video I want to talk about the bosses. We've already seen that in their preview video what the bosses look like. They did show us this screenshot, a video from Raid showing these bosses in action that we'll have to beat to get this amazing new content down, and all the resources we are supposed to expect from there, including the mythical champions. A lot of people are calling meh. We've seen all that information, but these bosses that you have to defeat now to get through this content, we know there's a normal mode and a hard mode coming. In this video, it's all about these bosses. They've shown us what the kit of these bosses will look like. Their A1, their A2, their passes and everything. This is supposed to guide you on what champions you should be preparing to fight this new content as soon as it comes out. Yes, it's not in the game yet, but we can show you the skills, we can show you what they will be like, what they are interacting with each other like, and you can now begin to prepare your best champions that you think will shine in this content. So that's what we want to talk about right here. We're not gonna, it's not yet in-game, so I can't show you the bosses in-game, but we do have what they look like already from the videos you've seen them all, from the Toraz, Maximus, Leshon, Iset. Where is the main boss? How many? 5? There are 4, and the main boss is this one, right? This is the main boss. So let me check the screenshot again. Yeah, he's the main boss, the one that looks like a tree from Silver Watcher's faction. So what? That's the main boss. All the other ones are just his side helpers. You will eventually face them individually as you're climbing through the flog and all that. You will face them in separate content, but when they finally come to this final boss, they will also be here waiting for you to, before you can defeat him. You probably have to get through them first, else they won't let it happen. But let's first of all find out what their kit will be like, because if you don't know what they do, you probably will have a difficult time with it. I'm going by this screenshot again, or this video that they released. I'm going by the first one right here, the one with the big horns. What his skills will be like, what's his name is going to be. Yes, that's all we have for now, only screenshots, so pardon me in this video. And finally, when it's launched next week, you can see every information in game. We just want to know what is coming. This is them releasing every information right now, telling us, hey, we've teased, and finally now we are ready for the big boss skills. And the first one, this is the Toraz champion. Toraz the Bestial Flame is a boss in this Green Forest content. Is he a normal champion or a mythical? I'm checking whether it has a alternate form. It seems like a normal champion. There is no alternate form, right? Just a bunch of passives that bosses normally have, so which they'll not take a lot of debuffs or a lot of crowd control and all that stuff. So on the A1, Fume Cleaver is a skill that attacks all enemies twice. Each hit has a 50% chance. This is going to be a long video because we're just reading through kit, but we just want to get what it's all about. If you're not interested in this type of video, you might have to wait until the middle of the week when this content comes out in the game, and then you can go in there and figure it out, or learn from others who are releasing videos by that new week we're going into. You're going to see live videos of people beating this content, then you can take a cue from that. Personally, I'm also waiting for those videos because I'm not about to figure this content out by myself. It takes a lot of brains, it takes a lot of hard work to put out those champions and these guides that will beat this content. Shout out to the creators who are probably working on it right now. We see you. We always give shout out to you when you make this one work for us, because I like to just go in there, copy somebody's build, copy somebody's teams, and go beat the content peacefully. I don't like to rack my brains around it, I tell you, because it takes a lot of time. And a lot of players are also complaining already that there's a new content coming up. What about the old content? Can we make it a little bit faster? Can we make, I just fought my Doom Tower battles, or is it still fighting on auto? They just say, let's just make Doom Tower instant complete. So we're still looking for ways to complete things. The battles even failed because one of my champions did not have gear. Ninja probably did not have gear. So let's make it instant complete for content like this, so that the new content can be easier for us to get through. So that's still something that hopefully Red will consider. A lot of old content should be completed instantly, so we don't have to manual them. Even if they are on background like this, it's still time consuming because you can't go and fight another battle. Anyways, back to the skills of this champion. I just wanted to put that disclaimer out there. This is gonna be a long one because I actually want to read their skills. Today is Sunday, I have time. I'm not in a rush, I'm not at the office, I'm at home. So let's go over this content. After this video, I'm probably going live for my Sunday raid streams, then switch over later to Twitch for other games. Fume Cleaver, AoE A1, each hit 50% chance of activating HP Burn. Does it place the HP Burn? Probably. Yeah, on the A2 it places the HP Burn. And block active skills. 3 turn HP Burn, block active skills for 2 turns. You don't want that. You don't want that. Hopefully this can be stopped by some block debuff buff, right? Duchess? So right now we are thinking of champions who can take care of this, but you would not even want this champion to go in first into the battle and use his slash and burn and put your skills on cooldown or place HP burn on you. You don't want that to happen, so you probably will crowd control him first. Probably you can't even crowd control him because he's a boss. Can you stun him? Let me go to the passive. I'm sorry, I'm trying to understand these champions, but I really want to see how to counter them. That's what we are here to look at. Now you can see all the HP burn. If there are no enemies under HP burn, debuff has a 50% chance of decreasing the cooldown of the slash and burn. So because there is nobody on HP burn, he will decrease the cooldown of this skill. Does that mean you can put this champion skills on cooldown? I think so. If the skills go on cooldown, he wants to make it available again. Let's go see his passive because that's the part we really want to see. Places a counter attack buff on him. On the Taras, the bestial flame. Is he on himself or on somebody else? Yeah, on himself. That's his name, right? Places a counter attack buff on Taras the bestial flame for 2 turns. Why did they write it like that? As if he's gonna place it on somebody else. I thought it meant Taras is somebody else's name. Taras. Also places shield buff on himself for 2 turns. The shield is equal to 30% of his max HP. This buff cannot be removed. He can have the shield all he wants. Wildfire Soul is a passive that whenever he's attacked by an enemy under HP burn, he extends the duration of that HP burn. We don't mind HP burns, right? We can deal with it. We can cleanse it. Hopefully it's not one of those debuffs that cannot be removed or cleansed. So far we can deal with HP burns. There are a lot of cleansers in raid. So fills his turn meter by 20% each with per each hit received whenever he's attacked by an enemy. So he's gonna get a bunch of turn meter if you're under HP burn and you hit him. So you want to cleanse this HP burn before you even do anything to this guy specifically. Will not fill his turn meter if he's under a freeze, so he can be frozen. They're already telling you how you can deal with this champion first of all, the first one. And then a vital spark passive. Him and his allies are immune to HP burn debuffs. So he places HP burn, but he makes HP burn immune to all the allies are immune to all the enemies are immune to HP burn debuff. So we can't come in here. HP burn is not a strategy for this content. It's out of the way. It's gone. Taras the bestial flame will make sure you don't bring HP burn to this battle. Now if you do encounter any of the other bosses individually on their own, maybe you can bring along HP burn and deal with them that way. But for him, he doesn't want HP burn. He's going to make sure his allies or his other bosses also don't get the debuff. The debuff, they will get it or they can activate or it won't even land. Immune, that means it won't even land. Enemies under HP burn debuff will receive 100% more damage from HP burn debuffs. So it's not the normal HP burn you're used to in normal content. This HP burn will do twice the damage when it ticks up. Damn. He saw allies by 2% of their max HP whenever. Damn, you really don't want the HP burn on this. You really don't want him getting a turn. I just want to make sure you can crowd control him, but no. You cannot stun him, you cannot sleep him, you cannot provoke him, you cannot block his active skills, you cannot block his passive skills, you cannot fear him, you cannot put through fear on this champion, you cannot petrify, berserk, enfeeble, nullify, ensnare, fatigue, and hunter's gaze. There are lots of all these ones that I'm not even conversant with, but I'm just seeing them here. I'm like, what is that? Hunter's gaze, fatigue, ensnare. I've not tested out in any content yet. I've not seen it happen either. Maybe I don't have the champions that do this. Nullify I do have. I don't know. I know who does this. Also immune to HP burn exchanging effect and all that, turn meter decreasing effect and cooldown decreasing effect. So you cannot put these champion skills on cooldown. It's a boss. You can freeze him. So that's the only way to crowd control this champion. Freeze. Got it. Either you're freezing or you're bringing Duchess or somebody else to place block debuff buff on you, so you don't get the HP burn at all. Noted. We can move on to somebody else, right? All right. Decrease the damage inflicted by the bosses for each awakening. Yeah. That's standard. Damage from skills based on enemy max HP. You can't go in there and one-shot him based on enemy max HP also. So that won't work. Immune to decreased speed debuffs and turn meter reduction effects. That's standard. So the only thing you can really do to this champion is freeze. That's noted. Let's go to the next one. I'm trying to be fast about this one. I don't want to make an entire 50-minute video or 1-hour video about this skills of this champion, but at least now we are getting the hangs of it. So you come in prepared. Which champion is this that I just showed? Maximus. Maximus is also another side boss. Where is Maximus? The next one after Tamaz. Or it's gonna take a while for us to know their name. Maximus. Let's see what you're all about. It's also Spirit Affinity boss. Soulmare blades attack all enemies, decrease the duration of all debuffs on each. Increase duration of all debuffs on the target by 1. You can try. We're going to make sure we don't have debuffs. Even if you try to increase the duration, that's not such a bad A1. Instantly activates all poison. So we got HP burn boss. Now we're seeing a poison boss. So he's going to be doing poisons, I think. So if he's instantly activating poison, he's probably going to land poison on this A2. Yeah. The second hit places 3 poisons on everybody. So that's another reason why we need a cleanse. You need a cleanse. Constant cleansers. You might even need 2 cleanses the way I'm seeing this battle. You might need a passive cleanser like Doom Priest or somebody who does it better than her. The first hit places weaken and poison sensitivity. Yeah. I'm trying to rush through this one. On the A3, places attacks all enemies, increase the cooldown of all enemy skills. Passive cleanse. Because if our skills are gone on cooldown, but hopefully we can go first and freeze this one. Hopefully this one is not immune to freeze though. Let all of them be able to freeze, then they can just stay there, consistently freeze them, multiple freezes, and then deal with them that way. Increase the cooldown of all enemy skills by 1 turn, places 5% poison debuff on each enemy for 2 turns. So as if the A2 doesn't place enough poison stray, she's coming here on the A3 to also place 2 more poisons. The number of poison debuff placed on each enemy is equal to the number of skills currently on cooldown. Alright. Removes all debuffs from Maximus, that is the champion himself, and places poison cloud on him for 2 turns. Poison cloud, that means you can land debuffs. When you try to hit, you're gonna get weak hits on this champion. So you do not want this A3 to take place. I'm thinking this champion will start the battle with the A3. This boss will start the battle with the A3 before even the A2 goes in. Alright, let's see. On the passive, whenever this champion is attacked, decrease the duration of all buffs on the attacker by 1 turn. If there's no if, it will just happen. If we hit this champion, the duration of all buffs on us reduced by 1 turn. If the attack lands a weak hit, decrease the duration of all buffs by 2 turns. I thought that decreasing the duration of all buffs on us will have an if we are under poison, decrease the duration of all buffs. But fills this champion's turn meter by 10% whenever he receives a weak hit. That's a crazy passive. Whenever this champion is attacked, decreases our buffs by 1 whole turn. Well, not everybody on the team, the particular attacker. So you do not want to target this champion, except you don't care about losing the duration of your buffs. Except your buffs are protected. Protected buffs, you cannot decrease the duration. So protection sets. I'm just thinking crazy ideas right here. Because whoever is placing that block debuff buff on us must be protected. That's what I'm thinking right here. Alright, let's move on from that passive. The next one, Forever Weeping passive. This champion and the allies, that is the enemy, are immune to poison. So we cannot do HP burn. We cannot do poison. That's 2 debuffs that are out of the way. Normal ways we come in here and do damage to content. Those 2 are out. No poisons, no HP burn. Everybody in the team, on the boss team, is immune to poison. Enemies under poison debuffs will receive 100% more damage from poison. So that's even more poison damage than normally you see in the game happening. That they can do to us, but we can't do poison to us. How is that a fair battle? You can poison me, but I can't poison you back. I will just bring in a, what's her name now? Yumeko, and send the poisons back to you. Or Lissandra, and use her A1 to send all your debuffs back to you. Alright. Also, instantly activates all poisons debuffs on the attacker whenever this champion or allies are attacked. Occurs once per skill. So you go in with your A1, all poisons on you get activated. You go in on just the champion or on everybody whenever our allies are attacked. Damn. So you do not want to go in there while you have HP burn and hit. You also do not want to go in there and hit when you have poisons on you. Hopefully you have multiple cleansers and this champion is immune to freeze. Oh no. Oh no. I thought this champion would not be immune to freeze. So one champion is not immune to freeze while this one is immune to freeze. Oh lord. Stun, sleep, freeze, provoke, block active skill, block passive, fear, through fear, petrification. Everything this champion is immune to. Is there any debuff, crowd control debuff that I did not think of here? It's only stun and freeze and fear that these days will see boss. Did I read the last one right? Stun, sleep, provoke. No freeze. Stun, freeze, sleep, provoke. Damn, this one has it all. This champion is going to be the problem. So this is the one you want to kill first? I don't know. Because except you don't mind having your duration of your buffs reduced, or except you don't mind cleansing everything that this champion is placing on you. You're going to try to kill this one first? Hopefully there's no way to revive them, or nobody revives them and bring them back to life. Cannot do enemy mass HP nukes more than 5%. Immune to decreased speed also. Damage from HP burn debuffs cannot exceed. Oh, this one takes HP burn damage. If the other one does not take... I don't understand. This dude just says we cannot place HP burn on everybody. Why is this one taking HP burn damage? I guess when you face them individually, you can do all these things to them. But when you face them together, they will protect each other. When he's here, he and his allies are immune to HP burn debuffs. While he's there, this champion will not get the HP burn debuffs. This Maximus will not get the HP burn debuff. But when Maximus is alone, when you go and face him alone, you can bring HP burn as a way to do damage, but it's 1%. Cannot exceed 1% of the max HP. So you're going to have to bring in your raw damage. Cannot bring in poisons in there. Poisons or HP burn is out. So just decrease defense and pure damage. Cannot crowd control at all. If I'm missing anything, you guys let me know in the comments. Let me move on to the next one. So it's going to be the third one. I skip the main boss and go to the other lady right here. She is the one on this side. Yeah. This lady right here. What's her name? Iset. Iset the Crimson Siren. Is it the Death Siren? Crimson Siren. Iset. There she is. These are kits. And this champion is Force Affinity. She's also a boss on her own. You face her individually, but later you see her together with this main boss. Attacks all enemies on an A1. All their A1s are AoE hits. Increase the duration of all buffs by 1 turn. On who? On herself? It doesn't specify. Increase the duration of all ally buffs. Okay. I didn't see the ally there. She increased the duration of all their buffs by 1 turn. Instantly activates 1 random continuous heal on all allies. That's a crazy one. She's all about the supporting them. She's probably the one that will bring the revive. I can already tell. By seeing this continuous heal, I feel like this one will bring the revive. She places 4. In that screenshot, I did see continuous heal. No, okay, I probably got it at the wrong time. She places 4 continuous heal buffs on all allies for 3 turns. Instantly activates all continuous heal buffs on all allies. On one skill, she places 4. That same skill instantly activates it. That's an instant heal basically for all of them. block, buff, debuff. Are they immune to that? So far, I've not seen that. Let me go back to Tara's again. Did I look at block, buff, debuff? They are not immune to it. Block, buff, debuff. Example, Ugo. Right? Ugo, that's the person that does it the best. Ugo or some other crazy champion. Block, buff, debuff. Or Lamasi, or what do you call that name now that we normally use in this content? Lamasu. Let me see her name again. How am I going far? I just type her name. Yeah, there she is. Because she does it without hitting. So we like that. This skill. Block, buff, debuff, and the true fear. Anyways, let's keep checking what's up with this. So I was looking at this set skills and I saw that she's gonna bring in a ton of healing. That's why I was thinking what else to bring to this battle. Now I have how many things I have so far? A cleanser, a block, debuff, buff champion, and now I have a block, buff, debuff champion that I want to bring into this battle. I've not even thought of my damage dealer yet. I'm just thinking how to survive this first. And attacks all enemies, removes all buffs from all enemies. She's trying to remove our buffs, but hopefully they are protected, and she can't. Places a master seal and a block passive skill debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. Hopefully we can stop that from happening if we have block, debuff, buff. And the damage inflicted by her increased by 5% each buff she's currently under. She also inflicts damage. How can a support champion like this be inflicting damage? Weird. I thought she's just here to support them, but like I said, she's on a boss on her own, so you will face her individually before you see her together with all of them. Whenever a continuous heal buff activates on an ally, fills her own turn meter by 5% and increases her max HP by 5%, up to 100%. So her HP might get twice the amount that you see right there if she keeps activating continuous heal buffs. So you do not want that to happen. Your block, buff, debuff has to be there permanently on this champion. Keep increasing the duration if you can, I guess. Giggles of Derision is her skill that says her allies are immune to damage dealt based on enemy max HP. So if she's there, you might as well forget about your big nukes from your gnot. No enemy max HP nukes right here. You can't come in here and one-shot anybody. Her allies deal pure damage. Alright. And they call that skill Giggles of Derision. How is that a giggle? I guess she's immune to stun, freeze, sleep, provoke, just like the other second one we just saw. But she's not immune to block, buff, debuff. That is good. And no provoke, no sleep, no crowd control debuff at all. But since she's in the same team with them, we can figure out how to kill them individually. It's when you see them all together that's going to be the difficult part, I think. Damage from HP burn cannot exceed standard. Alright, let me see this previous one. Did I pass through one of them? Oh, he was the first one I skipped through. Drugnell the Eternal. Drugnell the Eternal is this one. It's looking like skeleton. Almost look like a normal legendary, not even a boss. Hopefully it's not as difficult as the others. And there he is on the team. It's gonna be this lanky one that is almost as tall as the boss himself. Let's see. Void affinity. Okay. Hopefully it doesn't do crazy things. Well, void champions are something to be scared of. Attacks all enemies. Places provoke debuff for 2 turns. We can deal with that. Not that bad for an A1. Attacks all enemies. Is void though, so no weak hits. Places a 50% decrease attack and decrease defense. It's a debuffer. Freeze for 1 turn. AoE freeze. Steals all turn meter from each ally. From each target under freeze. Good luck trying to freeze me. You're not going to be successful. I'm bringing a block, buff, debuff that will last me for 5 turns. No such thing. Whenever he's attacked, has a 40% chance of placing freeze. Okay, now I don't like that. I don't like that. The A2 freeze is not enough. You also have to freeze me. That's a passive. On the passive, was that the A3 that lands the freeze? Okay, it's the A3 that has the freeze. This is a passive. 40% chance to freeze. Decrease the speed of enemies under freeze by. Decrease the speed of enemies under freeze debuff by 50%. You're decreasing the speed or decreases the atometer. That's a weird one. Or he's gonna place decrease speed on them. You should just say so. Decreasing their speed doesn't mean decrease the atometer. That's a weird way to phrase this one. Is it decrease speed debuff he's gonna place on enemy under freeze or not? Alright, on another passive, Drugnell, the Eternal Gatherer, and his allies are immune to ignore defense effects. How are we supposed to kill this? These battles are going to last for an hour. If you can survive, hopefully. And it's going to be all manual. That's what I'm saying about this one. This is going to be all manual. Reflects 50% of the damage he receives back to the attacker. If he's under HP burn debuff, will not reflect any damage. So I think that's the only debuff that can land on them if he's alone. But if you have all of them together in the same team, no HP burn can be landed. Immune to HP burn. That's what the first guy said. When he's there, everybody in the team is immune to HP burn. When he's there, everybody in the team is immune to poison. Now, when he's here, everybody in the team is immune to ignore defense effects. But he takes HP burn damage on his own. When you face this boss alone, you can do HP burn on him, and then that will not reflect any damage back to you. So take note, HP burn is important for this boss when you face him alone. He's immune to freeze also, stun, sleep, provoke, and all that good stuff. But you can still place block, debuff, buff. Decrease defense, weaken, block, debuff, buff, and block, buff, debuff. What else again can you land on the boss like this? Decrease attack. There's just a few buffs that can go on these bosses. Just a few buffs. No decrease speed. He's also going to be immune to decrease speed based on, see, immune to decrease speed. No enemy master HP nukes. Not crazy damage from HP burn. Alright, now let's go see the boss finally. The boss is Leshon, right? Leshon the Entangled. That's the boss himself. Well, I thought I would not get through this one real quick. I got through it in about 30 minutes. Leshon the Entangled. And what do you know? I actually learned something from this because I didn't see their skills or checked out their kit before I started recording. I just started recording and wanted to go look at what Ray dropped for us in the creator chat. And now I actually have some information about these bosses. Even if I will not come up with the team myself, I'll still wait for the community to bring out champions, their best group of champions. I just mentioned off the bat few ones I think that we'll need in this type of content, but I don't know how to put them together and the best way of doing damage. Until we see the content in game, I guess we can go into the normal stages and try it out. Hopefully it's the same bosses we face on the normal stages, right? We can try it out, understand it then before we face the hard stages, and then see what conditions will be restricted us to use and all that stuff. So let's see his final kit. This boss is gonna be the main one that is tall right here standing, this one, and see what he can bring or how you can take him down. Blood Branch Bash is an A1 that hits everybody. The damage received by targets under an entangled debuff is reduced by 50%. Damage received by targets is reduced. I don't understand. Is it reducing our damage for us? Is it going to entangle us and it's not going to do maximum damage to us? They did explain the entangle though. It's a champion under a entangled debuff will not receive any positive effects from their allies, including buffs, and will not have their atometer passively increased. When placed, a champion receiving the entangled debuff will have all their buffs removed, but can still receive additional debuffs. The entangle debuff has no duration and therefore cannot have its duration increased or decreased. The entangle debuff cannot be spread to other champions. You can only remove an entangle debuff by actively filling the champion's turn meter to 100%. So basically, when they get a turn, who places this entangle? That's what I want to know. Has a 50% chance of placing True Fear on targets without an entangle debuff for 1 turn. So if you're not having entangle, you're getting True Feared and you're getting maximum damage on that A1. On the A2, attacks all enemies. Before attacking, removes all buffs from him, the boss, and also removes all buffs from all enemies. Good luck doing that. My boss will be protected, hopefully. It removes all debuffs from him, and removes all buffs from us. Before attacking, the damage inflicted by this skill cannot, for this skill and the amount of ignore defense against each target increased by 5% per each buff and debuff removed. It's not all debuff. The both of them put together determine the amount of defense he ignores against each target. Basically a seer, right? He's just gonna swipe everybody down with his A2. I feel like he's gonna start the battle with his A2. Let's see the A3. This is the one where he places the entangle debuff and decreases. Now this one does not care about the entangle. It's gonna do maximum damage to you, this A2. But the entangle debuff coming here will decrease each target's turn meter by 30%. Not that bad. If there are no enemies under entangle debuff, attacks all enemies with the higher speed. Attack the enemy with the higher speed. Places a protected entangle debuff. Protected? I thought you say it cannot be removed and all that. Once you get a turn, it's removed. I thought it cannot be cleansed. It can't be cleansed? We read it. It says it cannot be removed. Cannot have its duration removed. Cannot be increased or reduced, I guess, but it can be cleansed, I think. Yeah, it can be cleansed. That's why they have to protect it here. It places protected entangle debuff. This debuff cannot be evaded directly, redirected to another target or resisted. This debuff or the protected one, the entangle itself or the protected one. When it does it on one person, the debuff will also ignore stone skin. If you try to make somebody the fastest champion in your team and it targets that person instead, if there are no enemies under entangle, or attacks the enemy with the higher speed, if that enemy with the higher speed gets the entangle, so it's not everybody on your team that will get it then. Instead of everybody to get it, one person at the beginning of the battle, I guess, can start with the entangle, get targeted with it, and you feel that person's turn meter, and then that person is free from the entangle. Or you can cleanse it, although it will be a protected entangle though. If he's not landing this AoE one and is doing it on a single person, it's going to be the protected version of entangle that he will place on that person. It doesn't say whether you can block debuff buff it, whether you can stop it from landing on you with block debuff buff. It's not stated right here, or cannot be resisted. It doesn't say cannot be resisted. That's one thing I didn't think of. High resistance. That's also a strategy. Since stone skin and everything is not going to work here, high resistance on everybody might be a crazy strat. Because so far I've not seen any of this their debuff that says cannot be resisted. Oh, I've already seen it. I've already seen it. On this part right here, Sublimate's life places a protected entangle debuff on the enemy with the higher speed. We've already seen that on the A3. Or is that the A2? That's an A3. So this is A4 skill. Also places Siphon debuff. Siphon is a new debuff. A champion under Siphon debuff will have 5 of their stat values siphoned by the debuff producer, except ignore defense. Each time the debuff producer takes a turn, an additional 5% of their stat values will be stolen forever, or just reducing our damage. stacking up to a 50% damage reduction. Basically, we're doing less damage. For example, a champion with 100k attack on their siphon will initially have their attack decreased by 950, decreased to 950, yeah. And then the debuff producer attack will be increased by 5%. So he's taking it to add to himself. You're giving the boss your defense, your HP, your attack. What about your speed and other things? He's taking it too, and you will not have it anymore. If before you could resist stuff, does it take your resistance too? With Siphon, each time the debuff producer takes a turn, an additional 5% of the target stats will be siphoned to them forever. Can it be removed? The Siphon debuff cannot be transferred, spread, or have its duration increased or decreased. It can be removed. That's all I wanted to hear. Cleanse. Cleanse. It cannot be protected also, right? Let me see now. Also places Siphon debuff on the enemy with the highest speed for 3 turns. This enemy with the highest speed is going to suffer. Now, probably it's not your speed booster, because your speed booster with the highest speed cannot even have the high resistance to even resist all this. These debuffs cannot be evaded, redirected to another target, resisted, or blocked. So block debuff buff cannot save you for this Siphon skill, but it can save you for entangle. No, it says these debuffs, not just the Siphon now, even the entangled cannot be blocked by that champion with the highest speed. On the other A3 skill, the entangle can be blocked. It doesn't say it there. But on this part of the skill, when it's trying to place, the protected entangle cannot be blocked. But the not protected entangle can be blocked. These debuffs will also ignore stone skin taunt buffs. Alright, parasitic and growth is a passive that whenever a true fear debuff placed by this champion is activated, fills the stomata of Leshon and its allies by 10%. So don't get feared, else you get given Tomita fear. Also decrease the duration of all the debuffs on Leshon and its allies by 1 turn. True fear is a bad thing there. You don't want to get true feared. Cleanse, cleanse, cleanse. At the start of his turn, deals damage to all enemies under entangle debuff. The damage is dealt is 20% of each target's max HP. Also destroys the target. That's what I was not expecting. He also has destroy max HP, so he can heal back to full. Also destroys, or you can restore your destroyed max HP, but that's an extra condition right here. If the enemy under entangle debuff is killed by the damage from this skill, places another protected on the enemy with the next highest. So as soon as he's killed, is a passive with no cooldown. As soon as one person under entangle debuff is killed, the next person with the highest speed gets it. Also places true fear debuff on all enemies without an entangle debuff for 1 turn. Crazy passive right there. Decreases all incoming damage by 60% if he's not under HP burn. How is he going to be under HP burn when the first one says no HP burn? I'm not trying to understand what this first one's problem is. He says no HP burn, but yet he still wants us to, 2 champions now want us to land HP burn on them. Necessary, compulsory, in order for us to do anything to them. Also has a 30% chance to change an incoming critical hit into a weak hit if he's not under HP burn. Bring HP burn to this battle. Let's make it 3 then. Block debuff, buff, protected, HP burn, and what else again did I think of? All your other debuffs that can land. Freeze, at least for one of them. He's immune to freeze, stun, sleep, and provoke. That's the 3 I wanted to see. I mean the 4 I wanted to see, and every other thing too. Block actives, block passives, fear, through fear. All Tomita reduction effects decreased by 50% when used against bosses. Awakening rules will apply. Strengthen. No enemy master HP nukes. Not take too much damage from HP burn. Alright, so that is the skills of these bosses. That is what is expected in raid. This is a lot. This is a long raid. Hopefully you got something out of this. Hopefully you found some information that useful. I know I did. I know what to expect right now when this content finally launches. Middle of this week that we are running into right now. But I look forward to trying out in the normal mode first. And hopefully soon we can see teams that the community can come up with, the smart brains of the community can come up with, and put out those crazy teams that we can copy them and help us get these essential resources in this new content that is coming up. If you enjoyed this video, if you found it useful in any way, please hit that like button. I appreciate it. Share it with your fellow clanmates if they've not seen it yet, and we'll look forward to this week when this content launches, the Green Forest as we call it, the latest content in Raid. I'm just happy it's coming when I've nuked down every other endgame content in Raid. That's why I'm spending my time now not pushing too much, because I feel like after you're done with all these crazy things and gotten all the resources, including curiosity, you're like, what's next in Raid? And this is what is next that is coming in Raid. And endgame players like myself are super excited about it, because it gives us something new to do, something fresh. While newer players are thinking, oh no, I don't have time for all these other ones. When am I gonna have time for this new one that I cannot even beat? So, but we see it as a challenge coming up. But whether you are endgame or new to the game, you will see a lot of resources that are available right here that you can add to your account. And even, no matter what stage you can beat, that's also free resources, right? Because it will come with its own coin energy thing. It's not gonna use your energy or gems here. It's gonna have its own keys or something, just like Doom Tower does or Casa City does. All right, we look forward to when this content launches this week. I just wanted to hop on here and share this information Raid dropped for us. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I really need the likes, right? And yeah, I'm going live later or right after the video. I'm going live on YouTube and Twitch to do my normal Sunday Raid grind. There ain't much to do, just gonna spend time doing my live arena battles, I guess, and catch up with the community and see what you all think about this new content. So if you see the live circle right here, hop onto the live and say hi. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later, guys.